Welcome everyone. Let me take you on a relaxing flight in the brand new version 2 Just Flight 146 update. There's been many new features and I'll be showing some of them and talking about them as we fly in the Bigscreen Beyond Micro OLED VR headset, which I'll also be talking about as we go. But first of all, just a shout out to FS Academy for sponsoring this video. They now have a new package called Zero to Hero, which contains 5 training packs all in one. That is IFR, VFR, Jetliner, Navigator and Commander. Priced at $69.99, it represents a 40% discount on the full lineup, consisting of over 60 training missions. All the links for Zero to Hero will be in the description below. Keep in mind, these training modules are actually from a real-world pilot and instructor too. Anyway, let's get back to the 146 and the Bigscreen Beyond, where I think this video definitely showcases the Bigscreen Beyond is plenty good enough to be able to operate a very complex and study level airliner, as we are doing our checklist right now. So talking about the checklist, as you can see here, it is very well done, and I haven't flown this bird for about a month or so there's things I do forget, but the checklist is VR compatible. I really like the zoom spots, but also because the Just Flight team have implemented the Asobo checklist system, it's interactive and intuitive, so it makes a beast like this much more manageable. So there's been many different sound enhancements as well as systems upgrades and texture upgrades as well to this aircraft. So as we're firing up number 3 engine, just making sure that the NG is coming up, which it is, and we'll fire that into life. The sounds of this, I can vouch for them, they are incredible. I have heard a 146 takeoff before and it's exactly the same, and it should be, since Just Flight went to the end of the earth to try and get the very best sounds they could for this aircraft. So we can see here the cargo bay is just very slowly closing. The animations are absolutely first class. We are at East Midlands at the moment and we're going to head to London Heathrow in some very windy weather, and that is because there's another storm over the UK whilst I'm recording this on the 6th of April. So we're now just doing our after start checklist. The Gen 1 and Gen 4 are now coming online, ensuring the Engine 1 and Engine 2 hydraulic pumps are also now online. PTU is on. And I think in a moment we're going to check the TMS system, which is very distinct to this aircraft. It's the thrust modulation system, which has also been modelled as you'd expect. Well, everything is in this aircraft, which is fantastic. Just going to do that now. We're just going to cycle it on so we can test it, and then we're going to set our correct takeoff parameters for the engine, including setting the outside air temperature and the correct flap for our departure. It's a great feature of this add-on, especially as you can click on the correct flap parameter and the bugs will automatically set themselves. Anyway, this is the FMS. This is new for the version 2 update, and again it's faithful to the real world counterpart. We're just going to add in our flight plan, very simple one today. We're just going from, as I say, East Midlands, that's Echo Golf November X-Ray, down to our first VOR waypoint, which I believe is Delta Tango Yankee. Putting this in the Bigscreen Beyond is an absolute joy with the clarity this headset provides. And then we're heading to Lima Oscar November before heading direct to Heathrow Airport. I will set our ILS into runway 27 left, but if the weather is decent, we'll go for a manual landing because this thing is an absolute ton of fun to hand fly. It feels so nice. To also mention, part of the update is a new passenger interior, which looks so nice. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll just put some shots in from Just Flight, but as you can see, very, very nicely detailed there. There's even a simulated working coffee machine, which I'll show in a moment once we're airborne. So we're just doing our before takeoff checklist. As you can see there, we're now setting our correct takeoff parameters. 18-degree flap takeoff, and look at the bugs, how they'll now... I love that feature. Go straight into position. Saves a lot of time, that does. And we're now lining up on the runway at East Midlands. Just going back to the FMS, the systems are so good now in this that it even includes holding patterns, direct to and command heading functions, top of descent calculator based on target vertical speed, including via the path VNAV page. Navigation monitoring, including wind information, SIDS and stars, the ability to save and import flight plans, custom database, swappable units. There's even a comprehensive FMS operations manual and a tutorial flight with this update. So we're just making sure our de-icing systems are on, our engine air, everything is all good. The TMS system is now online. I'm now going to shut up, you'll be pleased to know, so you can hear the beautiful sounds of the 146 Professional as we take off from East Midlands. Enjoy.
Power set, flex achieved. Speed alive, both sides. 80 knots, cross-checked.
It is windy, and I'm wandering off the centre line. Come on, Steve, get back on that centre line now. Listen to all the shakes and rattles.
V1, rotate.
And the call-outs.
V2.
I believe that is Martin from Just Flight doing the call-outs there.
Positive rate of climb.
Fantastic, and listen to those sounds there. See the wind, even with this beastly airliner. She's been thrown around quite a bit today with a gusting 30-35 knot crosswind. Now, performance in VR with the Bigscreen Beyond is excellent, especially as you don't need so much high resolution with the headset, because it doesn't have to counteract barrel distortion like aspheric lenses do. So it means the computer doesn't need to work so hard to produce its native resolution. So landing lights are coming off now, and we're in the climb. And now's a great time to work the coffee machine, which is fully modelled. Even the water goes down as you use it. Fantastic. Listen to this. That is a very nice feature, Just Flight, especially as I am a bit of a coffee snob. I appreciate that extra immersion of going in the back and just enjoying a coffee. So we're just climbing out, by the way, in IS mode. So we're holding around 200 knots in the climb, which is giving us about 1,500 feet per minute or so, I believe. Just making sure everything is good. I'm showing you here as well the different FMS configurations. You can use a modern style FMS, but I much prefer the classic 146 FMS, simply because that's what it's like in the real thing. That's a really nice added touch there, that they've included both options. You know, you really do get a fantastic view up front in the flight deck with this aircraft. And as we're doing our after takeoff checklist, that map there is on display, which is very sharp but a little bit small, Just Flight. It would be nice if that map could be bigger for VR users. Now checking the battery, making sure battery 1 and 2 are where they should be, because this aircraft does model all of the systems. And now just enjoy a beautiful panoramic shot here as we climb out with the English countryside below us. And let me tell you, with a micro OLED VR headset, the colours and everything just feels so good. That form factor of the Bigscreen Beyond is very special indeed. And interestingly, in an aircraft like this, for some reason there is a lot less glare. Perhaps because there's less modern screens glaring at you. Just listen to those spatial sounds. I have a huge respect for Just Flight, simply because, I mean, this aircraft now is probably 8-9 months old, and yet they're still refining it, making it the best it possibly can be. Talking of which, in version 2 there's even more features, including crew lighting controls for the cabin, cabin door, no smoking, seatbelt sign and call light annunciators, crew call panels with controls for cabin and emergency calls. And by the way, I've just spotted Silverstone down there, so I'm just having a good look at that. Looks fantastic from the air. Very fast track that. Here's another great feature of version 2 is a customizable paper checklist that can be mounted on the yoke, and you can store charts and all sorts of information, and I think there's up to 15 checklists and 20 charts that can be shown. Not to mention you can also add in your own images as well via, I think it's PNG file format. I do really like as well how Just Flight are going for an alive cabin to make you sort of get a more dynamic feel of being a pilot, because there can be sort of random calls from the cabin crew and even the passengers, which again is just very, very cool touch. So we're just now getting the ILS information for runway 27 left. Now the gear is coming down. You can see this animation here. This flight was about 1 hour 20 minutes, and wow, the Bigscreen Beyond, being probably the most comfortable headset I've ever worn, you kind of almost forget that you're wearing it.
Speed checked below 170, select flaps 30.
Roger that, Martin, thank you for that call out. We're now on final approach. I must say it's very, very gusty.
Speed check below 145, select flap 33.
Just loving those call outs. And having to do a bit of a crab here because the strong winds are not straight down the runway today.
1000.
And as you can see, I've got my concentration face on. Apologies for the scruffy hair as well. I've just been on my motorbike before this video. Now of course VR footage is very hard to capture, especially as I am using Steam VR as well, which doesn't run as well as OpenXR. That is a shame, and it would be good to have an OpenXR runtime that works for the Bigscreen Beyond.
Flight slow.
Anyway, I'll just now again shut up and let you enjoy this rather sprightly approach and landing into Heathrow.
Flight slow. $50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Ground idle.
So thank you so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. This has been the 146 Professional version 2 by Just Flight. It's just been released. If you haven't got this aircraft yet, where have you been? This is an absolute masterpiece, and it's been a great pleasure flying in the Bigscreen Beyond yet again. I mean, you know, there's so many different VR headsets out there, but the Beyond is definitely up there as one of the best. Take care, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.